Understanding the way stamina works in Space Station 14 is very important for combat. It is also important to understand the percentages of health that you will slow down at. It's not very obvious that you do slow down at specific damage thresholds, and it's not even inherently clear that the way stamina damage works and the way getting stamina critted works. The most common way you're going to get stunned in this game is going to be through something like a stun baton. A stun baton, this is slightly out of date, I do apologize for this. A stun baton before the nerf will stun you in 2 hits. And there's an interesting property with this where the moment you lose 50% of your stamina, or otherwise known as taking 50 stamina damage, you are slowed significantly. So if I just get hit by this baton, which will, with the old values, will take 55, it will do 55 stamina damage. If I try to move, you are slowed for about 2 or 3-ish seconds. So with the old damage values, a stun baton would do 55 stamina damage. The second you take more than 50 stamina damage, you are slowed significantly. And I will just show you. So a stun baton on the older version did 55 stamina damage, and it doesn't matter what does the 50 stamina damage. This isn't inherent to the stun baton. It's just inherent to 50 stamina damage. So one swing of a baton will make me move significantly slower for about 2 seconds, maybe a second and a half. And after that slowdown ends, you will recover 3 stamina damage per second. And it will keep going until you have 0 stamina damage, essentially meaning you're at 100 stamina. And without the debug menu on the right side of your screen, you can just look until you see your stamina hits 100%. So what that means is say like a security officer gets a baton on you, and you manage to get away, and they don't manage to hit you until you recover enough stamina. So like I'm under the threshold, they hit me again, I'm now at 92 damage, but you will slow down again because you crossed the 50 stamina damage threshold once more. So it is important to manage your stamina well. Like as a syndicate agent, for example, if you get below this 50% threshold, you really want to not try to fight anyone because, for example, if I just turn the stun baton off and get meleeed, you can see that even the stun baton turned off does a decent bit of stamina damage. So even if you EMP somebody, they might be able to hit you to the point that they're going to cause that 50 stamina damage hit threshold crossing again. And like I said, you really do not want to be slowed down in combat at any point in time. So that is essentially stamina explained. There's no ways to recover it faster. You just recover at a flat 3 every second after about 2 or 3 seconds from the last time you lost stamina. And, well, I guess I should include this. Once you get full stunned, you are stunned for 6 seconds, and you'll stay at 100 stamina damage. But the moment you recover, you will stand back up and be at full speed. But there's a little threshold where you're basically invincible to losing stamina. So let me just get a fresh baton here, and just... I'm sure if you played the game, you have seen this. So if you get stunned, you're at the 100 stamina damage. I'll wait for them to recover, to keep swinging. See how it's still at 100? These hits are essentially doing nothing. But as soon as you get that stamina back, you can be re-stunned again. You basically have a 3-second... they're not invincibility frames. You have a 3-second anti-stun from stamina damage. That explains stamina damage and how it slows you and how it will put you into a knockout state. All species in the game move at 4.5 movement speed while sprinting. However, at 60 damage, you will drop down to 3.1 sprint speed, and at 80 damage, that threshold will again be hit, and you'll drop down to half of your normal movement speed. And this is compounding. So for example, if I have like a Juggernaut suit, which is not necessarily the slowest suit in the game, but it does slow you by 35%, you become a walking brick, and this is sprinting. And if you have something like the emergency suit, for example, you become just incredibly sluggish when you're at this. I'm at 4 times slower than normal movement speed with at 80 damage at with a minus 50% emergency EVA suit. If I were to be dehydrated, and have a duffel bag on, you'd basically not be moving. It gets pretty intense, the different modifiers of movement speed. And I'm sorry if this is a little unfocused. It's kind of hard to explain, so I'm like literally showing debug menus because it's kind of like I said, it's just kind of hard to explain otherwise. So at 60 damage, you lose about 25% of your movement speed. And again, just to demonstrate, at about 80 damage, you lose about 50% of your movement speed. And then, of course, it's multiplicative with more modifiers. So another 50%. I'm now at 25% of my original speed. And you could do the math from there on out. Each disabler shot does 30 stamina damage. As you can see, taking 30 stamina damage didn't slow my movement speed. But the second you hit 50, you lose more than half your movement speed for a short time. But if you were to re-hit that threshold, you'd lose it again. To make the numbers as clear as possible, a disabler does 30 stamina damage. So, just to demonstrate from earlier, 30 stamina damage will not slow you. 60 will slow you because it crosses that 50 stamina damage threshold. And if you were to take more past 50, it actually doesn't slow you any further because you have to cross over that 50 threshold for the movement speed to reapply. So if I just wait for the person to hit exactly 49 or 48 stamina damage, you can see the movement speed once again has dropped down to less than half. So that is it's impossible to know somebody's stamina, but you start getting a feel for things where it's like, it's a pretty, basically like for a disabler, the first 2 shots you land are the most important because, I mean, you land 2 disabler shots, this is how slow they are. It is so much easier to land the next 2 to disable someone after that because, I mean, they're moving at less than half speed, and if they have armor on, I mean, they're basically not moving at all. Like, let me put the emergency suit on and just lose that 50 stamina. I'm at 0.9 movement. Like, that is disgustingly slow. It is so easy to hit disabler shots on people that slow. There are 3 chemicals in the game that can help reduce your stun recovery time. There are stimulants, which both syndicates and nukies can purchase, and ephedrine and desoxyphedrine. Botany can grow desoxyphedrine in ambrosia. They can also mutate into it, and chemistry will have no real issue making meth. That's something they're pretty much doing anyway. On MRP, you're not going to see that nearly as much, but even then, I'm sure antagonist chemists make meth all the time. And even then, I still see botanists growing meth and not getting yelled at for it, so I guess it really depends on who's playing security. Anyways, out of scope. The stimulant is by far the most powerful of these, though. It may only last 30 seconds with the stimulant injector, but it doubles your stamina and basically makes you recover from stuns nearly instantly. It also heals you at when you're extremely damaged, but that part's pretty minor. So normally, if you remember, it takes 4 disabler shots to disable somebody because it does 30 stamina damage a shot. But if I show you, if I just inject myself and pick up the disabler, it will indeed it will take 4 disabler shots to even put you at that 50% threshold to slow you down. Also, stimulants make you incredibly fast, so good luck even getting hit by that many disabler shots. And I still need to put 4 more into them in order to hit a crit. But as you can see, I recovered nearly instantaneously. And even slipping on an Omega Soap is only like a 1-second stun. Like, you barely even finished a slip animation by the time the stimulants work, but as you can see, it only lasts 30 seconds, so you really have to plan out the stun effect. But the sprint speed seems to last a bit longer overall than the stun recovery. Like, I'm still running faster than I should be, but like I'm not taking any poison damage, but the stamina, the stun recovery is gone, and the stamina part is also gone, so it's a pretty interesting side effect and something that's worth noting. And the ephedrine and desoxyphedrine, again, don't give you any stamina, but ephedrine gives you some stun recovery time, so if I slip on the bar, you can watch the stun recovery basically lurch upward, and if I inject myself with desoxyphedrine, or meth, which is the better name for it, you will recover faster than ephedrine, and it's kind of like stimulants. You might even run faster, or it's about the same, but the difference is that it hurts you, it makes you shake around, and it doesn't offer the extra stamina. So that basically is the stamina stun recovery drugs explained. And that's also pretty much the full explanation of stun meta. I mean, I don't really like the term. Um, stun meta is, I mean, it is what it is. It's being actively balanced. It's probably been being balanced since the day Space Station 13 got security to even exist. Um, it's, I mean, it's just will always be a balancing act. But anyways, there is another circumstance where so items like the Truncheon do extra blunt damage. So, for example, it has a blunt or it has a stamina modifier, so it does 20 damage, and blunt's normally a 1-to-1 for stamina to blunt damage. But the Truncheon actually has a 1.5 times modifier, so that means since it does 20 damage, that means 4 hits from it will actually do 120 stamina damage, which means again the Truncheon against an unarmored target is actually pretty strong because it only takes 2 hits to get you into that slowdown, and in a melee you're just going to die to that. But as you can see, 4 hits will stam crit you even without a stun weapon, but this weapon falls apart when you're fighting against any form of armor. So as you can see, I full recovered. With the Juggernaut armor, the stamina modifier is based off the damage, so 4 hits didn't even get me close to half, even though this weapon does 20 damage. It's just because the Juggernaut armor is that tanky. Uh, Apologies, this video is probably a little long-winded, a little unfocused, but this is pretty much everything you need to know about slowdown from damage, slowdown from stamina loss, how stam crit works, how slipping works, how recovering from it works, and so on. Thank you for watching.